Kani nyina de asomo adawro mansama ede baba somno de ede makotene bi eni ene mra shebedwamo nso asetena no ensipo ama speaker etu ahyeda womunim dako a womum eba
na sansana endi sebeye kodi sia da moje se de ekoso o mehye fie no bia no betinde subodambo wom
na woko aye dom kase no afam ho ameche MPP afam ho ba no dani ononyafo Alexander Afanyoma ejese speaker chese wayi nani en wa hyeda ma me hyebedwama ebeja en wote so speaker sa de no wo ye no enye
na Minister for Trade and Industry ononyafo KTM mo chese ade na ba binjed no aso tietia babra so
na Sony Efenisa Apostolic Fire Crusaders Ministry International ele womuni sofo pon a eda sodi ya no womu ye peace work no de foto bebre amagana fo nyina da ye bekwa TV
na former minister adukoya enso na member of parliament riba manfo watachiba no for beto be so Christopher abiyawe ni wachese emekura bre na do ntie so bugina ebo homre so
enyumere in some way any afoforo bi ne yesi nkonwa bekenkan ede asomo yakasebo information centers ahodo na ato apeten abafo kwanso sikafmonline.com Africana Radio ni modern Ghana kasebo na mo Facebook live Sikka FM 895 live YouTube Sikka FM 895 official and TikTok ni X at Sikka FM enyumere yi yen ma age pene ye bekenkan kasede amamo ayeme rantenu aba ma me efomwa kafena mene
Barmasam Kofi Douglas Gidi and Sandgo.
Yenya trakwane somra na nsem no emirem.
Sikka FM Trakwan yen yakro 89.5 Sikka FM.
Sikka FM 89.5 Yes Suma Santimai. Sikka FM 89.5 Yes Suma Santimai.
Yes Suma Santimai ne Ghana mai wiase nyina ka ho afei ma yenwura esemnemo ankasa. Elemra shebedwa eko asetena na enso ma asetena no ensipo asetena ni pant na yie mpo na nkampese wo mo fi nkomodi ase ma nkomo na besipo anase ensipo nko asetena na nko yie kra and I'm so amamra shebedwa mu chame hine right honorable abansoma na Kingsford Babin etumra shebedwa adwumadie aheda ya chese wo munim da kompa wo mbesan so abefie ho no ababeto abanenwuma hodo ya ekoso ho no esom mra shebedwa mu chame hine to ashada no odi to dwese ene wo mkoye no NPP for mra shebedwafo no wo manwura efie ni mu mpo na ngampeso wo maba betena se na dwumadi ahodo a wo ho no wo modi aheheso afenso speaker esanso ka se adwuma kro na sasem kro ye wo mo kwakodi hu nkomo fie ho ye sesanka ye de toto krata so de bra wo mo de friend se order paper no en wo mkoye na order paper bia na ba bia enti adwuma potia no mo kwakodi ne fie ho mpo wo bia enim ede ne ebeka ho asem eye tax waiver anase chese die bade akwan ho asem ne ebeka edwa bi ne yakwakosi besia bi ne yakwakwaja tomu wo mo ne ma de kode order paper bia na ba bia no mo ho adwuma kokora wo mo kwakwa ne fie ori nyina keka bom ene ma mra shebedwa mu chame ne echese sasa na tie dia ene wasanso atuo modwumadie aheda wonim da ko a ombesanso abefie ho abeto adwumadie so biem yentie sede onunyafo abansema na Kingsford Babin ekan nensem.
Honorable members, I had under the dictates of the provisions of the Constitution to issue the summons for you to be here today, and I duly complied with the constitutional provision and got the administration to get the summons published to the notice of all of you. Unfortunately, the signatories who made the request have not shown up, and therefore matters that they wanted us to handle, which are admitted for the consideration of the business committee, are not on the order paper, and in fact there's no order paper for today because the business committee could not meet due to the absence of the people who requested for the recall. And as you can see, one side of the house is completely empty. In view of this, we have, as usual, got a quorum to sit, but we have no business before us to transact because the business committee, as you know, they prepare a report, and this report is adopted by the House as business agreed by the House to transact during the course of the week. In the absence of that, there is no other authority that can put business before you which you have not adopted to transact. In view of the failure of the business committee to sit as a result of the refusal of those who requested for the recall to show up, we are compelled to once again adjourn the sitting of the House. Knowing the challenges we are facing, it is not advisable to be adjourning from day to day. And so I'll proceed once more to adjourn the meeting indefinitely. And the meeting, this extraordinary meeting, is accordingly adjourned.
Right Honorable Abbas Samana Kingsford Babin.
Ma yantoso na fe van said when I'm doing any sabine could be now called by Fia. And then sending Speaker of Parliament Abbas Man Babiendo shares and 12 for no new dinkomo. No, I said, nay, you be amra, as it's name will be a yanchi, and you'll be in Sebiota. I don't go what and so don't kumani dom kessi. Bibian way to Mrs. and the 17 now acquires a way back as we back, and no, I'm so, I may be could know one far warm should you fear no when to me uncle. Na nene mwa na so na endi samunyo kuno mo so eba abekasa enyese bia bibia nje o nemu de tie ne se NPP amunyo kuno mo ana bibia asi obemu se ne se nti oman aye wo mi kebem kebi na yigina ya na so se ba ne se asetine mu ye ba nia betena se na fe de mbemu ku mo anga samate mo se o nya de se be fio da aban adwuma a wode asoma ho ana nwuma bia wo se yetena se na bobo ho mo na mo se fees na school be da ho ana fe kura no be da ho wo se yetena se na so de bia mo de so bo no ebo NDC abaye kodne no ado waje se ase omo kan dia bibia ni wadna so Ghana fogina omo kama Ghana fogina anya munti asese ade we no ye we nkan ye pa se ne se unti afi se obanya mamra na atimiti e wo mrashi de fe se ye betena asetene mu na fe obo so before se da bi nya de so betumi aba adenti na muntimi che bibia de no na so ma NDC kokoso mo so mrashi de fe aje se Ghana fogina enti asemu no munti nie se koba ne se MPPD bi gine babi no kan se mi difa NDC amunye kono so wo mo ana ma bibi eba mrashi de fe a asasem no monti ase kura enyi de nam so ema minority leader KASE atovosi wo chese ade we no ha dwen ti se aban no ai na adwen so bese bibi no de na bibi amunye kono so nko eba de mo de mo fie odon so mo a mo se ade we esom a mo de be fie so a mo dwane we chese aban no djuma bi ambasa mo ye do nya de se mo de gin wo se mbasa mo ye de mo mboapo ye bi ana se mi pemo kono ai da wo ye do santi amanfo gina be ya nanka MPP pemo kono de we se omo no pa bi a mo ye bi a mo de bo mo safo hene de be bo gina atugu vese so mo de etwantwe ye ni so nya de bia ana mo ye no memu we eye na de si a ememe kono wantumi ama bahwe ye fie na fo mo de nsem bi yo mo ano no mo de so bo no egbo ndi se mo ye kumpempi wo mreko a atetene mu koba ni si a na mo nso bu wo so MPP kwa de mo ye se ye ndi ti fo so ye se eno oje se MPP mo ye kono de mo che ne no eche se aban no dwumadi a obeso ye bia no obani ani ho enu nti na mo ye sa.
For first, triggering a recall of Parliament under Article 1123 and Order 53 of our standing orders and failed to show up. 2, we left our busy schedule, suspended our campaigns and reported to duty this morning only to see that the MPP members of Parliament who actually recalled Parliament, we noticed that they failed to show up. This morning at about 7 o'clock, we showed up at the business committee meeting on the 6th floor only to notice that the MPP members of the committee once again failed to show up at the business committee. I personally called the committee clerk and I was informed that she's out of the jurisdiction and no one has reached out to him to her to program the business of the day. I was worried and reached out also to the MPP side and to have an indication as to what they are planning. No one responded. I am deeply worried and deeply concerned that the very people that requested for Parliament to be recalled failed to show up. Clearly what we are seeing here is an abuse of the Constitution and the standing orders of Ghana's Parliament. The NPP minority caucus have indeed caused financial loss to the state and to us, the NDC members of Parliament, and to the people of Ghana. We say this because this recalls cost Ghana money. This is not the first time that they have done this. They've done this a couple of times. So we see nothing than disrespect. We call on the people of Ghana to see the behavior of the NPP and punish them accordingly. They have certainly, everything shows that the NPP are tired, they are fed up, they are not ready ready to work for the people. We are ready for the people. They are bereft of ideas and they are short of vision. They cannot solve the suffering of the people. All what they do out there during campaigns, in spite of the hardship, is to sing and dance Osisifia. That's all what they do. In times like this, when the ordinary Ghanaian is struggling to survive, they are dancing and singing Osisifia and sharing money. We want Ghanaians to see them as such and vote against them and sack them. Because clearly, you can see, we have over 100 NDC MPs here today out of the 137, and we are determined to do what is right. But colleagues, let me make this point to the people of Ghana. Let no one deceive you that the NDC is here to obstruct the people's business. We are rather here to work for the people of Ghana.
Adia wotie donkuma no ba no dani atofosi na wote ni ka waje chimu de emeku no osio komia kwaso won sa gini waban redwumadi e wode so won sanuti ana mbe so mbe bibia no de sobon egbandi se moyeku no do mabra mo nkama Ghana fo nyina anti asese wo adwuma de ne ka se ye ba be ye ne ziade ya bre
na sami ho an dom kase ne ba no dani futumra shebedwane lawyer Alexander Afanyoma akense jese wo hunu enti a donkuma no ai onabo atofosi ne nkofo ade sobo no ebo wo mo MPP fo se wo mo na pie firi wo na wo mo na aban ne nwumadi o metena se no mu dwane efie ho ye ko ye mu nyina mu nim se de ye adwuma wo ha ya ba betena se no na woda pepa ede da ho business committee no wama committee me hu businesses kura saada no ya ba bedi hu nkomonti ya ba no na nyina he woda pepa no so no obi a de nanim ni ya hwem order pepa no so na ma 1 ye ne ye beka wei na my 2 ochina ye beka wei saa ene ye be ye no na ya ko ye order pepa bia ma clerk of parliament one for paper bia beto one print paper bia enti na yenkwankwa tenase no ye kwakwa tenase pa ne agede ho enti mo bia mfa so bo mo wo mo se wo mo sheda no wo man komra shebedwafie na emom order paper na eni woni nti eno ka ho bi na wonom ankonom afenso wi osaso de sobo ebo speaker se speaker ne nei said de ma shebedwafie ekwo ne hoye bebrebe nyina yenkomra yemfamra ha ye tu asheda na fa hine kosi ya nyina nda ni nyina free speaker na ma wonum nyina aba yenti ononyamfo Alexander Afanyoma akes.
Yesterday, Mr. Speaker himself, in his press conference in the afternoon, enumerated a number of things. Among them, he said he had not made a ruling. He told the whole of the country that he had not made a ruling. So if he claims that what he did was a formal communication in response to a statement from the minority leader, then why is he supervising chaos in the House? What Mr. Speaker did today amount to supervising chaos and bringing the image of democracy to disrepute. The NDC minority members were all over claiming that we, the majority, did not attend a so-called business committee meeting that they called. Who are they? When did we constitute a new committee in Parliament? I chaired the business committee of Parliament, and when the clerk to Parliament asked for the business committee meeting, I was very explicit that the subject matter of the recall, which was approved by Mr. Speaker, is a very matter for consideration. So there's no need to have another business committee. Business committee is to decide on the business of the House. On this occasion, you have made an application, which application has been granted, and the items that were approved were the very things to be decided on. So I directed that the order paper should be printed to reflect all those items. Fortunately, Mr. Speaker himself read the two letters, the first one and the second one that amended the first, and indicated to the whole country that indeed our deputy majority whip, the second deputy majority whip, had actually sent those letters to him. He acknowledged him as such. Clearly, the NDC is on a warpath. They want confusion in this country. They want lawlessness in this country. And all these are being supervised by Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
It is sad. It is very sad. And I would want to entreat you, the media, to call them out, to call the NDC out, to call Mr. Speaker out. Because what is it? What at all is the issue? You have made a ruling which you now say is an opinion. We disagreed with you. We've gone to another forum where, by law, that forum has the power to interpret the law. We respected Mr. Speaker's ruling. In all of these, my first interview after his ruling was to the fact that I respect him, I disagree with him. Therefore, my colleagues and I were withdrawing from the chamber and will pursue the matter at the Supreme Court, which that matter he was already aware was pending at the Supreme Court.
And yet, I am Rashebejamo, Dom Cassian Bado, Danny, Futum Rashebejani, Honorable Lawyer Alexander Afenyomaki.
Ba yanto said na Femi Vanko Minister for Trade and Industry Dukoya so the year Masuja di mama for adanse asokwa dunya for KT Hammond na wakasa ni kasejina ejina edna media kwa so na wase Masuja fie watrase na nsema hodo da so no ebobo hudi jina the Speaker of Parliament Aban Smani Babin ejina ni tumi so na fie wacha se Masuja fie kunyama akoma konda de na ho na ojina ni tumi so na so ma pani ba ko tam de ko Supreme Court wa edna Supreme Court agent se wo hwe na nsema waka no wansa entwinsani semuno edna nam so ban nsema hodo jina sie ndi senior MB pemeko no 71 se ba yina nam sene no bi so bi yedom kase wensu mi don kuma edo nam so ma setene mu antime nko wiese ne wopede ne no nam so bedunyanfo KTM on achese adia Speaker of Parliament Amban Smart Rally eyeye no ese anyedu di na se adia Supreme Court akandia to so se hwe na fe etimi etna se na fe gina etna ho no asi wabu court no animatia se ne se untie Supreme Court de wakaze BBC na was Speaker of Parliament Amban Smart Babin wo ya wo de watna wo di wanya hwe so matu edana I was etna se na sa sheda edinti ene man sa wo ye ne service sa dia wo ye no nya de se wotimi etna se maka bam ka bi ekoso na Speaker of Parliament Amban Smart Babin say dia na the Supreme Court ka ye no eje no di djuma na se odon kwafa ne timu se enya so betumi ama djuma dia senevata akoso machibe fie na se do dunya for KTM ejina edna se ntwofo adim na for cheche ni se mu je se ade ekoso na nya bi afie na ubeka so BBC ne mom no ma hodo gina ekoso a Supreme Court awuli awie na waje so ye nkwa setina bio na de senevata bia entoye serbe omamu ye gina ho beto edna so Speaker esore ya ni se nke gina so edna setina mu enya maso ye satu ade aseda ye nim da kra ibetumi aba edu no waje se sade we ekoso no entoye nti Speaker of Parliament Aban Smart Babin ni waye wadna adwumadie mu no achese kemam kebi no bese ebetumi akoso omamu na se ne KT Hammond gina so no waje se ade Speaker ye ne de ha dwen prade senti obehwe de betumi ayere afon.
The Supreme Court has told him that he was wrong. Restore matters to what they were before you did that.
Line of action for the MPP.
Well, we will cite him for contempt. We will cite the Speaker for contempt. Watch the face. There is a ruling made by him. The Supreme Court is spoken. We want the decision of the Supreme Court to be respected. It's not a question of acknowledgement. It's a question of implementation. The Speaker made a ruling. It was unconstitutional. It was unlawful.
By any account, it was illegal. The Supreme Court, contrary to the assertion by he himself and some members of the minority who keep proclaiming from high rules and high heaven that the Parliament is a master of its own rules and regulations. The Supreme Court is told Babin, Parliament, that you are not. There is an institution which is the master of the rules of Parliament, and that this is what the law is. That you cannot make the decision, the proclamation that you made. I call it proclamation because you think it's a king, it's whatever, it's a lord unto himself. But you made a ruling. It is not right. Supreme Court is telling you it is not right. Go back to that house. Can I not complete? Go back there. To do what? Yes, it will be the interest of Ghanaians for the speaker to respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. Come back to this side rather than continuously adjourning.
It's not disrespected.
He is disrespecting the ruling of the Supreme Court.
4 MPs
you are not listening.
Allowed from coming in.
You are not listening.
No, when did any of the 4 MPs come in and they were asked not to come?
You know where they were.
Because today the second deputy speaker's aide has been in the chamber, but the second deputy speaker himself has not been inside.
You may want to take some medication.
Yes,
Adia watie Minister for Trade and Industry odukura nso na yema shoja ni de mama forward and so kodua for KT Hammond no waje se Supreme Court ewuli awie o yenko na yenko transition ye te kane no a we ne kan ye sen ya videos metu achida anoje Speaker of Parliament Aban Smart Babin die we ye antwe ye fi se obenya mabra eni kemam kebi no na peso keke kededi mu adwe enya de wo se wo transition na ka se obibi senti ada wo ye sa do na KT Hammond wo te ne nka wo mu a esidani afeche ne ho the Speaker no entwe nti wono content ebeche no
Efim na shebedwa mu nsem wa na fe yamra dada sitene mu ne niam ahodo bi ehia ti se nso ho asem sei aedne pa Ghana Water Company Limited area ba betu dwase omo systems no mfidie ne niam ahodo a wo mo ade hwe nso ho asem kama ye sonson bi so na wo mo abu afadro be mu na ba bedu ye nso afiefiem ne ade abo ye ho bra no wo mo systems no ho teacher pa ne de wo eye ekrom no ya de tun saniani a hamu nchemu ba se aduokono na wo krum sa aduokono ne emu hamu nchemu aduanan wotwe na ni nyina asese honema ye basabasa bi kura honma enso no ebugu enyunugu na enso esa omo systems na ase ni nti wo mu hunu enti ni nyina ene se Denmark maino ba besi eye bia wo mu de hunu se enso aha etwigu aha efa emfaye mitemu ene ho nkra ne banyina leakage detection facility eno ma ba besi ewo eye Ghana Water Company Limited ne fa ye wo wager enkramemu ede ama wonum na dwumadie na se no na eye managing director ede ma Ghana Water Company Limited Dr. Clifford Brima HSE sa facility ya wo manyai ebebo mu dwumadie pa yenti no
It's a major issue for Ghana Water. As I was saying during my presentation, we lose about 48% now because this is a measured one. We should have been losing far less than that when we were estimating. So I said 2017, we were losing about 54%. That's the estimated one. And we brought it down to 44, 45, 44, thereabouts. So it was fluctuating between 44 and 46.
And yeah, managing director at Ghana Water Company Limited, Dr. Clifford Brima.
Ba yantoso na femi fanko bia fofo da medo ko kade minister odukwe so na ye member of parliament ma manfo a god ewo tachima north about your so professor Christopher Abiyaw akunfi da odo na ni wache se we dia de sede a anodo to abi baba yekunanim dia okagina akogina sani afi aka bosume sede ene da sede si a da bonso ya to santene kwato baba yi akandifo wo ma obeye mahwefo na fo mu so obeye kana mampani wo memu da ne santi digina kogina emi so fi se wa to ho a ento hodo huni se nkan koye digina gina sane ya huni se da mejekoni mu ebidim relax ebidim aidi aso de hu hima ebi wonso de so fara obo fadi akwa de senti enyane so betimi ayi campaign no so no nam so eba opedi okasa se isia de ebine na du no jenhwe na fa yenkenya ye ho sa dan nto mu gina kogina sane odi na anu dwumade de se na ni so ze oye campaign wo ton bi meko no na mama fo gina ehun ton to gina nya bibia se won Frank Krokrani Dr. Mahmoud Bobia na fe mafo gina ehun se opedin oyobia odim de na obama manje chia kwadi mu fi se tamia asia wo ye vice president kura ye hudi wo ye digital nya otu fi bebia wo bia no gbonzi sia abefo tentafidie so do nya se NHIS se ye din obibia mu no abefo kwaso ko a dan senti no se opedin wo ye nhwe na fi ye nton no nemum ekuma kwasem pipa me ko bi no mu awon ankasa won batabudi kuro adi asante mantem yakura do bia yidani aso bo huni se o campaign class ye ha ye hodo do visa man obi ehudi etumi ye de senti ana professor Christopher Abiyaw akunfi odo ye maso ye ni di mamofo watachima north na osanso ye kane so for ni watche se mamfo ye se da de se no do sumani mu o me ku ye hwe na fe ye me hono so pa se bi ye betumi aboya kandie mu na se no so bi cheche di simu e de kire ye ni enie
politics there to me yango bombo na se awodin kakra aso koswa na achirima no edin kitam na fe so to trans no hu wa ukuru no anama tuno bia otiachi a obehu ne marketing bia ebia o jijino na so de futu kwa ombejatum rinyi de wa oni most of the people me no mo yakama na fast in kanka me no mo din kitam wa che when you special problems, as NDC had dominated for a long time. Last election, no, Kakitu Kenya, Senate West, and Atibu Sufi and Sa Tina Hohiana through West Naka. You take stories house, oh, Mamen Kona, Ekume, Meno Monko Kasa, I mean, show moon cry. There can be a Mijidise. Actual campaigning, no, a polling station, for the since one of the voters no a chip back chip no back on daily basis which we are canvassing so enti na so ya otia na party no hwe nyawe so they didn't no one ko kasa dia mwaka krebi na obenya na on the amount so be who sem penimfo no dwi so omo yes and door to door campaign no akoso ya ena din kunim die baba
Abia otie Professor Abia Akufi na watiri ken do chechi mutie wade be do chi no saje se abanya kodo ne mabire wo ho se wedi yakonkofo na so ahoma jekura bom akokokoko no aba no ache do bibia demo sie tenate ho na ekudina babi ne bodom pim ne afie kasegudi a enya no kone betua bode mum se yakonkofo na so no ebo pa
Melena Jui Cop Pepper, or Jammy, no Makikamuas, rallies, and winning for so. We are rally on a Kuparan city shirts, the mayor dress, come on, ya jeans, a jay show. We are the same number, Marco Cassia, Chamoa. We have been the messages people call, but by and large, you know, and no Yana Winya. Once in a while, no, I na Kumano, Kenya, okay, the t-shirt and our Taribi or pump for no the issue. But I try working and I'm making. So being your police station executives, you know, the additional ones on daily basis. Yeah, campaign, yes, who in 1 month, yes, and penny voice, you know, because of time, presidential candidate who not take my once or twice. I'm your own credit. So, Sansana PCC, Omo Yade, they do the rounds. But again, Omo to me cough frequently. Entina can from Jumano. Now come from Mojuman, so they are as a police station executive. Any free
Admachi anopedi asatu azuze kemianko se PC fuyi ubu aba abafo frokra obi nso watena so be mfi be de woni waye din wotro udisem pdie party se de ebu am abato beto asisi a niko atame ha me ho eno so chi mu se saafo de mu hwe na fe mo so pa
me de me to committee for no any again police stations mo ma adwuma ya oyi enye kwa complaints no now we are more so by address as many of them as possible. Well, yeah, so this time the near Mumbeko, winning no, I saw about Tichman North, this is sitting in New then so may share you media or moody. Let me answer many Martin, Martin, a dinky town, Namoa, Minso, Mitua, Metum Diabo, no any Mitusana, where you go so. You said you did so. Yabebane yabebwa nana meka adwara nya ba ko adwuma every day bi awonam na ehonso mi sre amamfo nkanka police station executives so munya adwuma na kunimdie no ba mo be hono mo frequently
Openia Otidinke Ebe Shoja ni Dibomo for Chiba North about to make so Professor Christopher Amiyao Akufi Edia Wodo Tijina the Emperor Meko no watch say meet me ayo na afia batu wedding kudim and out see what near who do him.
Can't talk a sebono a soy and now a sodi a friend is Apostolic Fire Crusaders Ministry is international. One more a peace walk. Asumdre nantie omonante Eddie free a swam run about sad ko edubin so baby asafono ewo. Nina na womo basum hu devro akasa ede achira omanfo se. Nyankopon checha asase no my Ghana and what the bedroom yen. No the bedroom yen so ye ba Fourth Republic yi emono. Nyame adom ye de ekokromoti achira adwen sa yada su kura ya sumdwe mu enti afi abato aye kwakoto nso ya mo ye hoso se de beya asumdwe Nyankopon ede akyeye no ye bekoso atena mu a ye koto abai abato ni moni abato na chi nyinada ye bekoso atena asumdwe mu na dwumadi na echi no ena wosofo pa wono eda asori ano meche Apostolic Fire Crusaders Ministries of Upon ya wono eda no woni yense ntwere na najwa boatima ebonkomo eye pastor for Evangelist William Ampoma woni yense ntwere boatima ebonkomo ena oka hye ne se wasrada si nyina yenhwe na yemmo yasomdwe ne ho ban afei wo kyese aba yakwakoto no wo manfo ayakoto no ye wo yasade esese ye bo asomdwe ho ban aposifo wo mo de sanso na abato komisan ewo ne de na manyofo nso ewo mo de nti obia enye na famu de sere be ya asomdwe Nyankopɔn ede akyeye no ye bekoso atenamo yenti esede sofo eka ne nsamai
Eshema ni padom inam kwa ho yede nyamenyom nam kwa mu nyina de ahurose nyina ne se oku ada omanga nanim a 7 December eba no enho dwumade ne yedie Onyankopɔn atro se omane di ya se be di yesu hwe omane so asomdue ti de na yehu a efna ni kana ni padom de akire de nyom to na ne gie ekoba nyina ne se yes nyame se woni enum na 7 December abato a eba no anya asomdue mo man no idide ye yanyo to ye ntie mu no sa akodo kwa na mu ma eba entwimfa so na awurade ma o man nya asomdue 7th December ye just to mlante for say every time ko December no mo bia mo obi pa so nko de obi ewu e ma police de bi e ma pa say tutunia ye hwe o man ye die no man die na etra wo cha emu na ma na maso ebetwanya ne gie abobla amanya me hira abo man so we ni boteltra na wie enyina ya twa hia ye de Onyankopɔn mu awrosie adwom enam kromu a ye bodawuro se Ghana maso bete na nyame asomdua abo man so ntra ne hu sa adwumade kese
Ani ati ye ayosofo power oda Apostolic Fire Crusaders Ministries International anom Evangelist William Ampoma eno de futuo ede mayen eno achi na eye asafoma no ebi nso ene yen ebonkomo
na ye hira ye papa nso a ye friend Evangelist William Ampoma ade fefede ye soronko a ne anisuade hunu a wo de magana man mfe na ye ahohoaho a ene day soso ene day dasronko a ye papa ahyehyɛ de amayen ni je na ye mfe ahohoaho a o ma yakoma ato ye yem na ne aye ka tira Ghana man nyina ne se ye nyina aye mfa wodo kroje mfa nto aba no na afa abato na chi no wutu wie so a ko fie na kɔhome na ne de ye da sɛ ye maame awo na ye nua no papa bi obeba bi ya no ye papa no tie nyina ye nya kroye ene wodo ene ye nigie enfantana ye man mu fisa Ghana e yo man konkono Ghana e ye nigie e man
ene ati ye aye asafo aye friend say Apostolic Fire Crusaders Ministries International safoma wo mo so na network na se wo mo ye nsantwe ni adwabo atema e bonkomo yi kasiane si na seri de mani shuma adwumefo
and he knew that the
ya reporters nyina ya drama se papa akokwa sense o wa hene ya fatome na afi yakate wo nyina ya drama se newsroom so adwanya akon ewo ho na afi adwo aka echiri boatin ewo ho adwo batma na bone no ede emayen na afi